Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Dakota Wagner and I'm one of the bass captains here at Evangel. And today we're going to be talking about situational playing, situational dynamics, how to play different ways during different parts of a song. So kind of going to go over just a couple of the different things we can do in a song during different parts. So one of the first things we can do that's going to be really helpful is playing with our fingers and playing really close up to the neck. And this is going to give us a nice soft rounded tone that has hardly any high-end information. It's pretty much just a low kind of pad underneath everything. So I'll go ahead and play what that sounds like. So as you can hear, that's pretty much just bass. You're not getting a whole lot of top-end information. And this is really great in the beginning of songs before drums come in, before the rest of the band kind of fully comes in, if there feels like there needs to be something underneath. It's also really good if drums come in to kind of just lay back and just play something really simple, not even quarter notes, but just holding out whole notes can really be a good way to start playing a song. The next thing we can kind of look at is obviously we can play normally over the pickups like we would normally play bass, and this is what that sounds like. So there's a couple things we can do when we're playing in this position. We can play something like we can play eighth notes, we could play quarter notes, we could play with the kick drum. Usually when we're in the verse or the first chorus of a song, playing along with the kick drum is a really important thing to do. We don't want to play straight eighth notes or straight quarter notes because there's a certain feel that the song has with the certain rhythm that the drums are playing, and we want to complement that. And if the drum rhythm is like kick, snare, kick, kick, snare, if we're playing eighth notes like, then we're kind of mess up the feel of where the song is going at that point, and it's going to make things feel like we're kind of driving and building, but the drums aren't, so it causes a lot of confusion on the dynamics of the song. So generally when we're early on in the song, it's really good to play along with whatever the kick pattern is or stick to whole notes. And then as we move further into the song, something that's really useful is using a pick. This kind of gives us a little bit more aggression and makes us more present in the mix. So you can do the same thing during later verses or choruses. We can start using a pick and mirror the kick drum. And sometimes we can start using eighth notes if it starts to have more of a building feel. If the bass drum in the drums are using an eighth note pattern, this is a great time to start using that. And then I'll go ahead and kind of show you what that could sound like. So if there's that drum pattern I just gave you where it's kick, snare, kick, kick, snare, then something that we might play would be like this. And so when we use a pick along with that, we still have a lot of presence, but we're not playing a lot. If the drums are doing that same rhythm and we're playing like this, it starts to really be confusing on what's happening, and it can really muddy up a mix too if we're playing a whole bunch of notes while things aren't quite built yet. Then of course if we get to a bridge of a song where things are really building, this is a perfect place to use eighth notes, especially with a pick. We can kind of really add that drive to the song. People both in the congregation and in the band heavily key off of the drums to tell where things are going. If we're building, how much are we building? And so as playing bass, we are really in lockstep with the drums. We want to be matching the same rhythm, and then we're also kind of extending that melodic element of the notes we're playing. So we want to make sure we're in line with whatever the drums are doing so that we can have really good builds, good releases, and our choruses can be really strong. And so we want to avoid having any mismatching between what the bass and the drums are doing, as it can really throw off the feel of a song. Since the only bass in the drum set is the kick drum, there's a lot of time between where the bass drum hits, and that's kind of where we're populating, and so we want to make sure we're not being too busy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play along to a song that we play here pretty often at Evangel, and that's called Who You Say I Am. And I'm going to start out, I'm going to play pretty generically. I'm not going to lock in with the kick drum. I'm kind of just going to play pretty basic in a way that we wouldn't want to hear on a Sunday. And then we're going to kind of do it again with these techniques that I just showed you, ways that you can be really dynamic, and we'll be able to look at the differences. So that's kind of how we don't want to be playing. It was very simple. There was only quarter note or eighth note rhythms. We weren't building when there was a bridge. The chorus didn't feel any different than the verse. And when we came out of the bridge, there was no change. We were kind of just rhythmically not doing a whole lot. So now I'm going to play how we would like to see things here at Evangel, and what is considered to kind of just be really good bass playing. And so, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that now. So there you can see in what I just played that in the beginning chorus there, I just played whole notes underneath, and I played close to the neck, so it was just kind of a nice pad underneath. Then as we moved into the verse, I used a pick and stayed with the kick drum, and then same thing for the chorus. And then when we got to the bridge, because the drums started doing a building eighth note rhythm, I also played eighth notes with the drums and really was able to build the song well. And then when we released back into the chorus, I went back to using following the kick drum, and there was a lot of dynamic flow in the song. We were able to stay down during the quieter moments, and we were able to build up to something pretty large and then release into a good chorus. And using a pick, we were also able to get some different sounds, staying out of the way during the beginning chorus, and then adding a little bit more definition and percussiveness to our playing when the drums were in. So hopefully you guys found some of this useful, and if you have any questions, you can ask them down below. And thanks for watching.